Hello. I'm
Hi.
here with Erica Sullivan of Mommy Clean, Mommy Planner, or what's your title? What's your title that you're going for?
I mean, mommy planner. Mommy. You can just call me mommy.
Just boss, all things boss mommy. Um, so yeah, thank you so much for joining us, for joining Dwell Tico with our first ever community conversations. And we created this because we used to have in-person events before COVID, and they were called Community and a Cup. And we would highlight businesses and have like themed events. Like we did Valentine's Day, we did a clean beauty event, and we would talk about, allow the business to kind of get their get exposure to our community, and we would have special topics. So that's why we created this. We want to spotlight small businesses, minority businesses, women owned, and just brag all about you. And so that's why we are here, and we are so thankful that you participated even through all the technical difficulties.
Yes, yes.
I want to talk about how I met you. So I met you through Ashley's sun. She hosted a Sunshine Box that was created by Kay Alex, and the box was all about. We exchanged names with random women, and you were able to create a box and send it to someone in order to give them some sunshine. This was during like the beginning of COVID, and everything was like just depressing and horrible. So it was a
Yes.
really nice way to meet new people and to just give to someone else, and it was a lot of fun. So I got your name, and we connected on social media, and I feel like we just were able to hit it off, and here we are.
Yeah. I felt that Sunshine Box was like so good. Actually, first of all, like you said yesterday when we first recorded, it was fun to just like shop for everybody,
Yeah.
but it's also fun to kind of like, like I always feel like Christmas is like fun because you're shopping for other people's
Yeah.
needs and like what will make someone else happy. But for this one, it was the same as like almost like Christmas, but more like you were literally intending to like put a smile on somebody's face during like a really, really stressful time.
Yeah.
So I thought that whole experience was like super fun. Like that was such a great way to like interact through, the pandemic.
I know. I'm like, I want to do it again. You
Me
did a
too.
you did a
I
kids version, right?
I did.
That
I
was
did,
really
and that
cool.
was so good because when I did that one with Ashley, my kids were like, "Why didn't we get a box?" And
Right.
they
Yeah.
ate. Oh my God, those brownie crisp things that you sent.
Yeah, yeah.
We are obsessed with those
I
now, and so we
love
buy them
those.
all the time.
Yeah.
So my kids were like, "Why didn't we get one?" So I was like, "Oh, well, maybe I can do one for kids." And
Right.
it was really, really good. I think all the moms, we couldn't get on a Zoom together and open it because it was just our schedules were just not working out.
Yeah.
But it was really good because the kids had no idea that the
Mhm.
boxes were coming, so they just felt like they were just getting these gifts, and everybody sent videos to the group chat, and it was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my kids were real. I should have participated in yours. My kids were so jealous. And my husband, he was like probably the most jealous. So I
Yeah.
ended up making him a box for Father's Day, but
That's
that was great. Yeah, it was such a
yeah.
good thing. I feel
I
like
loved it.
um it seems like you're just really all full of ideas, and like you were saying, you're kind of just like you kind of go off the cuff sometimes. And I noticed that Mommy Clean was actually a new business that you started during the pandemic, which I was really surprised because I was like, this looks like this has been around for a while. So, oh wait, actually, I'm sorry. Before I do that, I want you to introduce yourself. I
Oh,
forgot
yeah,
about that. Where you're
yeah.
from.
Okay.
I
So
got excited.
my name is Erica Sullivan. I am originally from the DMV, DC area. I grew up there my whole life, and then I like fell in love with this guy who lived in Philly, and he has a son. So we didn't want to like, leave our son. So I moved here. Plus he's the breadwinner of our family. So like, what else? I gotta do whatever he wants. So I moved to Philly to be with him. We've been married for 4 years, or going on 4 years next month. And we have 3 kids, one together and two from previous relationships. They're 10, 9, and just 2 today. So our life is like busy. We're like super busy. My husband works every day, all day. Like he's like an all day, always at work kind of guy. So I'm here most of the time with the kids by myself. Mommy Planner was, and I didn't say this yesterday, but I started Mommy Planner when my son, my firstborn, was like maybe a year old. I threw him a birthday party and it was like super elaborate and everybody was like in love with it. So I started out actually as an event planner. And I started doing kids events, and then I moved to doing weddings, and then I did my wedding, and I had like 3 weddings after my wedding that I did, and then I moved to Philly, and I was just like, I didn't want to do it anymore. So my whole like beginning out was as an event planner and a blogger about being a single mom. And then once I got married, my whole life just kind of shifted. I stopped wedding planning. I actually was still getting wedding planning requests while I was here in Philly in DC, but it was just like so much adapting to having a stepson, having a new marriage and all that. So a lot changed. I took a pause for a whole year to try to really figure out where God wanted me to go with the whole mommy thing. And I met a few girls here in Philly we started like a mastermind group, and they kind of pushed me into like, you know, really digging into the blogging and becoming an influencer. And I started doing that. And then last year I had like, at the end of the year, I just wasn't really feeling it. Like I wasn't feeling the blog. I wasn't really feeling influencer type of title thing. I just was like, something is missing. And I was at a point where I was kind of like, I'm only going to do what God is telling me to do, and whatever doesn't feel good to me, I'm just going to let it go. So I let go like all the toxic stuff in my life, like a lot of people, and just a lot of things, like even like things in my house. Like we've been in this house for almost 2 years in April, and like we had like an idea of what we wanted the house to look like, but then certain things just weren't feeling good, so we just let it all go. Everything that just wasn't perfect or good or didn't make me feel happy, I just let it go. And then out of nowhere Mommy Clean was birthed. So I don't know, that's the story of me. I kind of am like the person that wears a lot of hats to try to figure out, I guess, which hat fits. And then once I figure out what fits, and if I feel like it feels good, then I pursue it. And if I feel like the season is over, then the season's over and we change it up. So
I love that. I feel like so many people are afraid to do that, to shift and to let something go when the time. Sometimes we hold on to things way too long, and I think that that's just a great quality, to be able to shift and just be able to like move quickly into a new direction. Because like I said, I thought Mommy Clean was here, and then I was looking on your website and I was like, wait, what? During the pandemic, this has only been 6 months now, but that's still, it's a very established looking brand. And so I want to hear more about that. Like, how did it come to be?
Okay. So, I didn't say this yesterday either, but I always have like ideas. I feel like I'm an ideas girl. So, and even if the ideas aren't for me, like somebody could tell me, it's like, you could call me and say, hey, I was thinking so, and I would be like, oh my God, do you know what you can do? I can give you a whole business plan and like and I do that. I'm actually a business coach. So for my clients, I just always come up with all these random ideas. And in 2019, I had like a ton of ideas, and I would share it in my mastermind group. And my mastermind, some of the girls would just be like, oh, I don't know. I don't think so. That seems like something really hard for you to do, or you wouldn't get a lot of attention on that. And I started getting frustrated because I would feel like I was having all these ideas of like things that I felt like would be the thing that I wanted to do outside of like making t-shirts. I was making t-shirts, and not that that was bad, because it did good for my business. I think that's how I grew my Instagram and stuff like that. But like, it just wasn't a passion.
Yeah.
And I decided that like, I just wanted to take a chance on me. So in 2020, me and my husband were coming home from New Year's Eve service, and we always, like on our ride home, talk about what our goals are as a family, as couples, and then as individuals. And one of my family goals was to bring a healthier lifestyle to us. And meaning like clean eating and, you know, just living a non-toxic, sustainable lifestyle. And I told him, you know, because as soon as I said, you know, clean eating, his eyes got like really big, like, oh my God, that's thousands of dollars. We can't afford it.
Right.
And I'm like, we can, you know, do something small each month. If we just start every month taking something out and replacing it, I'm sure we can make it sustainable. And then when like the beginning of the pandemic, we were just like going to Target. We actually live across the street from a Target. So I went to Target. Yeah, that's toxic. But, I went to Target and we were trying to get, you know, all the disinfectant because it was like everybody has to get disinfectant, and there was nothing in the store. And so I had to buy what I could buy at the time. And then when I got home, I was like doing more research because I was like, oh, because even though I wasn't technically living toxic free and chemical free, I was still buying the stuff that said toxic free and chemical free, not knowing that it's still toxic. And I was like, well, they didn't have the all-purpose spray, or they didn't have like a window stuff. So I was like, how can I make my own? And what do you need to make your own? And I didn't say this yesterday either, but I had ran into a lady at Target who worked in at a hospital that was nearby, and she was telling me, because this was like really right on like the cuff of before we were really locked down. This was like maybe 2 weeks before, and she was like, this is what you need. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to necessarily have Clorox. And she was telling me all the stuff that I needed that I could keep my home safe for my kids. So I went home and I did a little bit more research myself, and I started finding all these recipes for how you can safely disinfect. And then I started looking at the disinfectants that I was buying. I was just like, oh my God, this is killing us. Like, this is not good. Yeah. And then, you know, like remembering that my son is like 1 and he was sucking on a spray bottle. And, you know, like I said, the labels, of course, said non-toxic, but it wasn't like, hey, your kids can drink this and be okay. So that like terrified me. And then the more and more research I did, the more and more I was like, I need to make my own. And it really wasn't that I was bottling up stuff to try to sell it to people, because that was never like even on my radar. That wasn't even like something that I was trying to do. It was more so like, okay, we need this to stay safe from COVID. We also, now that I'm doing my research, you know, I'm finding out more things like, okay, the face mask is like good to protect other people, but technically we need these germs. And I'm just like doing all this and I'm attaining all this knowledge. And I made these products. I came up with all these different recipes and I tried them all out, and then they worked. And it was just like, my husband was like, oh my God, we've been trying to get that marker off the wall for like days and it's not coming off. I mean, we wiped it down with everything and it wouldn't come off, even like the chemical stuff, and it just would not come off. So he was like, you need to put this in a bottle and sell it. And I was like, really? And I just like sent, because I always need like some type of confirmation. So I sent it to my mom and my sisters in the group chat and was like, do you think I could sell cleaning stuff? And my sister was like, I can see that. And I was like, really? And so I was like, okay, well, let me test it out. And I started putting like little teasers on Instagram of like little videos of me using it. And people were like, oh my God, what's that? What are you using? And I would just be like, oh, you'll see. Like, you'll see. And then I just did it. And it was like super hard because like, I'm not really good at like graphics. So like the fact that I was able to make the label myself was like amazing, because I'm not good at it. I used to always like outsource, and my sister is like, she's generally like my graphic designer. So if I ever have like flyers or stuff like that, she usually makes that stuff for me, but she wasn't able to do it because she was away on a trip or something. I can't remember. And I was like, I really need this. And I was like, I'm going to try to put this product out. And I made it myself. And the response to the label, like by itself, was like, oh my God, people like really love the bottles. And I was just like, do you guys like this? It's just like a little leaf with like mommy clean on it. But it really did. I think, and I know that it had a lot to do with the climate that we were in, you know, because of the pandemic and all that. But it was even still, to the natural eye, it's not a disinfectant. So people don't know that like germs can't live on clean surfaces.
Yeah.
So the number one thing you need to do is clean your surfaces in order for the germ to, you know, not be able to live on it. Disinfectant doesn't actually even kill the virus. It just breaks it down so that it can rebuild itself up and manipulate itself so that it still lives on your countertops. So all of that was like just enlightening, and then here we are today. I don't even know.
It's amazing though. I feel like a lot of us, or it's a great quality to have, to be able to like do things yourself as an entrepreneur. We kind of have to, we're kind of forced to do that, but it's just amazing, like, to be able to be like, I don't have a graphic designer, but I'm gonna do it myself. Like, I think that's amazing. That's like, yeah.
It was a stretch, but I do think and it's one thing I tell my clients, like, it's always better to start with yourself being you're the only person. Like, when you're a solopreneur and then you get a team, you can't, your team will never be able to tell you, I can't do that, or I don't think that's going to work. You can be like, no, honey, it works.
Everything.
10 years ago, I was doing this by myself.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, and my parents have kind of taught us that and instilled that into us. They're pastors of their own church in DC, or in the Waldorf, Maryland area. So they never take no for an answer. They would, like, if they say, hey, we want to do this for the church, and someone says, no, I don't think that's a good idea, or no, we can't do it. They're always like, no, you don't know the way that we can do it yet. But the idea was given to us by God. So if there is a way that we can make it happen. So I think that's just like where, like, the lane that I'm like raised in.
Yeah, stay there, stay in that lane. I'm reading this book, or listening to this book on Audible. It's called Everything is Figure-Outable.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Like, no matter what, you can figure anything out. You just have to have the willpower, really, to do it.
Yeah.
And definitely. I can think that's what you're doing. So you were talking about your products. You mentioned a few of them, but could you break down like your whole line for us?
Yeah, so I mean, I have so much. It's so crazy that you talk about Kay Alex, because I was like venting to her one day in DMs, and I'm just like, yeah, I like keep coming up with all these ideas of making new products, but I'm like, is that too much? Am I overwhelming people? And she's like, no, girl, get this money. And I'm just like, yeah, but it's like it's crazy because I actually make products, or like experiment with making stuff every day. So I'm like, oh, I should try to like make a lip balm or something. And I'll just like create it and see how well it works. And it might take me like 3 months to like be like, okay, I like it. Yeah. And then I'll like, okay, I'll put it out there. But we have like an array of stuff, and we do seasonal candles. I mean, God, the candles are probably like the easiest, but the most time consuming thing to do. So it's like, I really hate making them, but so I made them seasonal. We actually have candles, but they're like seasonal. They'll come back out for Christmas. We have our full set kit, which is probably, as far as kits go, it's our biggest kit, and it's probably our second, or like paired as one of our number one sellers, because you get everything. You get the window cleaner, you get the room spray, you get the all-purpose spray, which is for every surface of your house. You get the power scrub, which is our best set, is the all-purpose and power scrub kit. And then you get, I think that's it. But your kit comes with a washcloth or a scrub brush, and all the packaging in the back, the Mommy Clean bag, and it just is like the whole shebang in one box. And then we also offer toothpaste. We are getting ready to launch a kids box, our COVID box, which was really a hard choice for me, because COVID, like disinfectant, is not necessarily, I mean, it's not toxic free. It's full of chemicals, or in most stores it's full of chemicals. But you'll be surprised, like, all you need to disinfect is alcohol. That's it. So when you go to the store and you're buying Lysol, there's more than one ingredient in your disinfectant. So I was telling my husband, I said, COVID is coming back. It's going to be probably worse than it was last year. I do think I should give people a safer alternative to a disinfectant. And it's a lot of controversial things behind it. But technically, yes, should you disinfect if you have been in contact with somebody who has COVID? Yes, you should. But it's all about making sure that you're disinfecting, and you're only doing that once. You don't need to do that every single day, spraying your whole house with these chemicals. If my mom comes over today, she sits on my kitchen table and she puts her hands on it, and then she finds out that she has COVID, I want to spray my whole table with the disinfectant. But then from that moment, after I spray that, all I need to do is clean my surface, because you need to break it down, but then you need to just clean it. Because like I said, the only reason why the CDC tells you to wash your hands is because germs and the virus can't live on clean surface. Only the bacteria that you need every day and will live on the clean surface. So I came out with the COVID kit because I figure if you're going to disinfect, at least know that you're just doing it with this alcohol. It's not like alcohol mixed with these fragrances, mixed with like all this other stuff that's harmful to your body. So we are coming out with something that's COVID friendly, but the COVID box also includes an all-purpose spray so that you can spray down your counter with the disinfectant, and then also continue to keep your surfaces clean to prevent the spread of the COVID-19.
Okay, yeah, that's amazing.
So that's a lot.
It's a lot, but it's like, what you're talking about. You've done your research. You can tell
Yeah.
that you haven't. I think that's a huge thing when it comes to wellness and using like cleaner products, is education. And so you have the educational component, and you're teaching people how to incorporate better products into their
practices
home.
and products. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
So I love that you have the kit, because sometimes you're like, well, what do I need? Like, I don't know what I need.
Yeah.
You get the kit, it's like
you have everything.
Yeah, one and done. And then you mentioned before, like, they're interchangeable products. So it's like, you run out of your all-purpose, don't be afraid to use your glass cleaner, or
yes. So that's the one thing that I wanted to like, and I think I don't, and so that's the other thing too. On my Mommy Planner page, like my main page, I do a lot more talking about the products there, because that's where most of my audience is. And then on Mommy Cleaner, we're getting ready. It's been very quiet over there because we're getting ready to like revamp it. But I think that's a message that I have not shared enough of, is that, hey guys, these products, yes, they're like, they have a label that says glass cleaner, but it's still all the same ingredients. It's just that for your glass, we want it to be streak free. So of course we are using less of like some of the products, like more water, less vinegar, a little bit more whatever, so that it doesn't leave those streaks, but it still gets the job done if you need to use it on your table.
Right. If you're like in a crunch and you're like, I don't have anything. It's like, it's okay. It's not like you're going to ruin anything.
And then the other thing I wanted to say is that like our products are kind of priced as a small business price point. So they're a little high for like most people. When you think about going to the store, like to get like a window cleaner, you're not spending $15, you're going to spend $3. But we do offer, so when people have a full kit, all you need at that point is like a refill to keep your kit, going. So we offer a refill set, and it's super simple. If you're not sure you want to get the product and invest the money, you could just buy the refill. It's still a bottle. You can put it in one of your old cleaning bottles, or buy your own a dollar store spray bottle and fill it up, and you can still use our product, and it's half the price. So it was something that I was like, okay, people who already have the bottles, they're not going to just want to keep buying the same bottle over and over. And we don't want to send that message that that's what we want you to do, because we're supposed to be sustainable. Yeah. So let's give you this refill kit. You could just buy the refill and refill your bottles. And if you don't have a set from us, a full set already, you could just buy the refill kit and then buy your own, bottles, and use it that way for like a cheaper alternative to trying the product.
Well, I'm going to also justify your price, because I feel like as a small business, like you said, you're a small business, so you're not a huge manufacturer. So my husband and I were talking about this. We were saying how it's normal for us to think that your price is high and that the store price is low, but it's because we're used to buying from big manufacturers, these huge warehouses. They have all this capital and access to
Yeah.
getting things at a small price. Whereas a small business, we don't have that access. So your price is actually probably the truer price.
It's the truer price.
Yeah, it's the actual price. And then you think of like the labor that goes into it as a small business.
Girl.
It's small batch, and then
Yes.
so there was something else. The labor. Oh, the long-term benefit is worth the upfront cost, honestly, if you think about your health.
Yes.
You mentioned this yesterday about headaches. If you think about
Yeah.
the changes in your health, and the upfront cost is definitely worth the long-term health. Like I said.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I think that like that's something that, like, remember when I just even said, you know, telling my husband that I wanted to just go more green and just be cleaner. Even him, he was just like, oh, that's going to be expensive. But like now, it's not. It really isn't, because most of the time when you're using sustainable products or greener products or healthier products, one, aside from food, like of course, if your food it doesn't have any preservatives in it, of course, it is going to go a little bit faster. But if you think about it, like, so now we shop at Trader Joe's. I mean, it's not super fresh. I mean, the meat is fresh and stuff like that, but they still have like frozen food that has like a little bit of preservatives and stuff like that inside of it. But for the most part, we try to buy everything organic, farm fresh. We shop at like a Produce Junction, which is, they don't have that in Maryland, but it's
Yeah, that sounds
it's
great.
like it's awesome. Honestly, it's like it's basically like going to a farmer's market, but it's a store. I mean, and we can get like strawberries for $2, and like everything is just more affordable, but it's just straight from the farm and straight to the table. So and granted, that type of stuff doesn't always last because it's not injected with all these horrible hormones and chemicals. But I'm more likely, I feel like since I've switched over to a more healthier eating habit, I don't even notice that it goes bad, because I'm actually eating healthier. So I'm actually eating more of the stuff in my fridge. I don't know if that translates and makes sense, but before I was buying like chips and like snacks that are just sitting in my cabinet. Now my kids, we snack on oranges and apples and like vegetables and carrots. So I don't even think about how fast it's going to go bad, because I'm actually consuming most of that stuff before it even goes bad. Right. So the money is just transitioning. So we're not buying Doritos anymore. We're just buying carrots. Mm-hmm. And because I'm buying it from a local produce stand, then the prices for the vegetables are a lot cheaper, because they're not going through this whole process and they have to bulk up the price. I can go to Giant and spend $6 on a box of freaking strawberries. I can go to my produce guy and get it for $3. Mm-hmm. So it's just like this idea, this misconception of what price and health is kind of really negatively put into our minds. And I do feel like with my product, as far as like a cleaning product, I can make as much of my product for myself as I want, right? But I literally don't even use as much of my products as I'm sure the average person does, because my life, I don't know if this makes sense. My lifestyle is so much, I think, sustainable all the time, right? Whereas people who don't live this sustainable lifestyle, they kind of use things wastefully.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So like even with my like detergent, or like I was telling my husband the other day, he loves the laundry that I make. He loves the laundry soap. I love it too, but I'm always telling him, you're using too much of it. Like, you don't need that much. So it shouldn't only last a week, honey. It should last 30 loads. It's no way you're doing 30 loads in 1 week. So so it's like, it's kind of like a mental shift of like, are you practicing sustainable habits along with being sustainable? It's good to like just be like, yeah, I'm gonna go green. I'm not gonna leave a big of a carbon footprint, but yet you're like washing your hair and the amount of shampoo you're using is as big as your hand. It doesn't equal out to be the same.
Right. So it's like a mindset shift. And so your customer is probably a person who is interested in that. sort of lifestyle. Maybe they're not completely there yet, but they're interested in it, and they're interested in like shifting the perspective. And so you, so what would you say then to this person who is like interested in shifting? They're not quite ready to commit fully. How would they incorporate, like, how would they start to incorporate healthier cleaning products or options into their everyday life?
So I would say sustainability is, and being healthier is all about starting where you are. My sustainability journey and my start might look different from the next person's, because what might be the worst thing in my home might not be the worst thing in yours.
Yeah.
So I think everybody's starting point is different. For me, we did every month we would do something different. So we started out with what I felt like was our biggest point, was like our biggest issue was what we were consuming food wise. I'm a bargain shopper by nature, so I know that chicken is super cheap, but I also know that if I get it from Food Lion then compared to like Whole Foods, the prices are going to be different. So I'm going to go to Food Lion and get this chicken that's not good for me, rather than going to like Whole Foods and getting like the organic or natural, whatever. So for me, it was the shift there, and it's a gradual shift. It wasn't like, okay, we're gonna live healthier, throw all the food away, and let's start brand new. No, it was realistic. It was like, okay, we're out of meat now, so when we go to the store, let's be cautious about what we're buying. And it was just from there. And then the next month it was the cleaning products, and then the next month it was the clothes that we put on our back, and then the month after that it was fragrance, and now it's everything. I mean, like, to the point where I told Corey a couple of weeks ago, I was like, I know you're not going to want to hear this, but Wi-Fi is not good for us. And we need to switch to Ethernet cords. And when we get our next house, we're not going to have Wi-Fi in it. This is not good. And he's like, are you insane?
You have lost your mind.
And I'm just like, but that's where I think, because the more and more I read about it, the more and more I'm consumed with it. But I would just, like, I always tell people, start where you are. If you, I would say to be honest, the most important part of our lifestyle is probably the stuff that we consume that we don't even know we consume. So like fragrances, candles. So if they're not soy or beeswax, they're probably not good for you. Anything that has a smell in it, fragrance is probably like the deadliest silent killer. So that's where I am. I have yet to, and I'm not there yet, switch to all natural and safe or non-toxic makeup, because I have so much makeup and I'm like, this is not, I can't just throw that all away. It costs me thousands. So I'm like gradually, like if I buy a lipstick now, it's like I'm thinking about what I buy when I buy something new. But like I said, everybody has to start where they are. And I think that making the big steps first in the beginning, so like cleaning supplies, food, and fragrance, I think once you make those big steps, the little stuff still affects you, but you've taken the big stuff out. So it's like, okay, yes, we're gonna encounter toxic stuff every day. We can't control the people around us. You can't even control your family members if you go to their house and eat their food at Thanksgiving. Like, come on. So it's like, start where you are, and the healthier that you live in your home, if you can make your home your safe haven, then everything else will just be the germs that you need on a regular basis. It'll be the toxins that you're going to get regardless. So it will just make everything a little bit easier on your body.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like, giving yourself grace, having patience, and not beating up on yourself, but understanding, like researching and understanding the importance of switching over. So did you notice a difference health-wise, like when you switched your cleaning products and removed?
Yes. Oh my God. So for Christmas, my sister got us Bath and Body Works plugins. Mm-hmm. And then right after Christmas, me and my husband went to the mall and we restocked. So they were so good. Like they made the house smell so good. So then we got them, but they were only on the bottom level. So then we got them so they would be in the basement and on the top level. So we were just like plugged in out. I had massive headaches. I could not figure out where they were coming from. And they were every day, constantly. And I'm not the type of person that takes medicine. Like, I'm not a medicine girl. So it's like I make my body fight it off. But it would just, I would wake up, they would go away while I was sleeping. I would wake up, and then it would be right back to where it started, like massive migraines. And I couldn't figure it out. And then when I started the Mommy Clean business, and then I started just doing more research and trying to figure out, because again, our products are based with like a vinegar base. So they don't smell like Lysol. They're not like, oh, super friendly when it comes to like smell. And I was trying to figure out, okay, well, what can I do? I can add essential oils for sure. But do I really want that? And the more and more I started doing research on just smell in general is when I realized, oh my God, these plugins are probably the thing that's giving me this headache. And immediately that day, I just went around, took them all out. They were gifts, most of them anyway. So I was like, whatever, I'll toss it. And I just tossed them all. And the next day my headaches were gone. So now when I get a headache, I literally will be like, did you light a candle? Did you spray something? Is there like something is different? When I go to my mom's, she like lights candles everywhere in her home. So it's like, oh my God, this is, I can feel that I'm getting that headache because it's, my body's not used to it anymore. It's been months without candles and without the fragrance. So that's one thing. I've had people send me DMs. Kay Alex, like we talk all the time because her son has autism. And she was moving towards a healthier lifestyle, but we were talking and I told her, I said, I think the base of like what you need to start doing is switching to a non-toxic lifestyle, because it's the toxins that are probably that's probably hurting him from being able to developmentally improve, like to function like he's supposed to. So even with her switch, and she was like, I want to support you. So I put an order in for some window spray. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I told her, I said, well, then a couple of days later, I was like, God told me to send you like a whole box of just like all natural stuff, because I think that's going to make the hugest difference. And I was like, this was like before, like we were just like friends via like social media, kind of like your post, make a comment. But I was like, I don't want to be weird. I don't really know you like that. But I just feel like I'm not doing this so that you can share my product. I'm doing this because I want the best for your baby. And I think that this is going to make a huge difference. And not that it was just my product alone. That's not even, but just the natural, clean lifestyle that she's implemented has made a huge difference in his life. And it's like those things. And then my sister, she has suffered from like hives. She breaks out in hives all over. And this has been going on for like a year. And they can't figure out what it was for the longest time. And then finally she had to like get her, I don't know, I guess scraped or something. They had to like scrape her to kind of like figure out what was going on. And it's some chemical that she's allergic to, but that's found in almost every toxic thing everything we pretty much use is toxic, but found in all products. And I was like, okay, you need to switch everything out. I sent her some laundry detergent. She has all of my cleaning products. And now her interaction with chemicals are so limited. So she does have breakouts if she spends the night at a friend's house or stuff like that. But for the most part, in her own home, she's fine. Mm-hmm. So it's like those huge changes those small changes make a huge difference. To have walked around my home for 3 months with a headache for 3 whole months, and then to just literally take all the plugins out, throw them in the trash, changed everything. And this is like something I didn't say yesterday, but people don't know this. You think that if you have a candle in your home and it's not burning, that it's not releasing any toxins, but even a candle just sitting in your house that has those paraffins in it, that is still releasing toxins into the air. Mm-hmm. So just because the candle isn't burning doesn't mean it's not letting off toxins. Just because you have like a thing plugged into your wall and it's only on a timer and it only goes off for 30 minutes, it's still releasing the toxins through this fragrance that's just in that little stick. It's still coming out of that stick. It's just not coming out at a more amplified level when it's turned on. So it's like just having it in your home is scary. Mm-hmm. So yes, it's changed my life to the point that like I've seen the changes that I won't sacrifice it and go back. Yeah. Like I love candles, but it's not worth like me being around to see my kids walk down the aisle. So it's not worth it.
Yeah, or even just like the headaches and not knowing. I feel like, so for me, I'm probably like a crazy person when it comes to that stuff. I probably drive my family crazy. I think they're used to me by now, but
me too though.
Yeah. It's like once you start removing things, then you notice a huge difference. And for me, even if I'm like in a store and somebody has cologne, like I will instantly start feeling nauseous. So you can see that the chemicals and the things put into traditional products, they actually do have an effect on our health, but you don't know it until you remove it. And then you see the difference. And I think it's honestly set up that way. We're marketed so heavily with things, and they don't educate us on what these things, what's in these products, like how it's affecting us. So that's kind of leaving us blindly using things without really realizing. And I think that's the beautiful thing about your business, is that you're trying to educate and help people to see like, hey, there's another way that could be really good for your health.
Yeah.
We're providing this for you, you know.
I don't even like people will send me DMs and will say things like, oh, I want to try your product, but I just can't, or I still have like a ton of stuff in my house. I'm just always like, okay, well, you know, like if you want to just eliminate that stuff, here's what you can do. Like, I would love everybody to just have mommy clean, like on their stoves and like all that. That's great. But the thing I would love the most is for us to all be healthy and living this healthy lifestyle. So yeah, if you can't, like, and again, the ingredients for all my bottles, they're on the website. So if you wanted to, I mean, don't do it. That would just make me so sad. But if you wanted to, guys, if you wanted to recreate it, do what you have to do. Like, it's at the end of the day, I would love it if we could all go back to when life first started and, you know, Adam and Eve were living until they were 900 years old. Like, that was God's intention. So if I can prolong life and prolong my own and prolong my kids, then, you know, that's the goal. I mean, it would be great if I could become a millionaire overnight because everybody was having mommy clean. But at the end of the day, I would feel richer if I was able to give people more life.
Yeah. I think I mentioned, well, I think it's really amazing. I don't want to say I mentioned this before. People are like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like our fifth interview, because technology and yeah. So anyway, I've never seen a kids targeted line, like where kids can feel empowered. First of all, it's a line that's safe for kids, and then they feel empowered to take care of their environment, themselves. So can you tell us more about your kids line?
Yes. Okay. So it's not out yet. It's coming though. It's coming whenever God releases it, but it's coming. I'm just excited about it because one thing that we have implemented in our home and we just started implementing is the kids are helping us to clean up, and they're like 9 and 10, or they're like, 9 and 10. So they're like a little bit late to the game of like taking care of things. But the main reason why I was always so hesitant to let them do that is just like you said, the chemicals are just too hard. Yeah. And I mean, I grew up in like, my mom was, you know, OCD. Like, it was like, put bleach in it. And like everything that we ever purchased, like she would always add bleach to it. Cause it was like, we got to clean it for real. Let's clean this back. Let's soak it out. And now I'm at a place where like, I want to teach my kids that their body is a temple. So anything that you're going to use, if it's not benefiting your body, then you shouldn't be using it. So even down to the cleaning products. So the kids box comes with things that are actually for their body. So toothpaste, body butter, there's an oatmeal body wash, which like reminds me of like my childhood. And my mom would give us oatmeal baths and stuff like that. So I created something that my kids would use that kind of was reminiscent of the old days, and then created things that they can use that would help to keep their space clean. Like, I don't know if your kids are like my kids, but they have their own bathroom. And I'm not very, I very rarely go into it because they're boys. So I'm always like, like that's like the last thing I want to do is go into their bathroom, but they are responsible for cleaning it every week. And and like, it's just crazy because even with cleaning the tub and cleaning the shower out in their bathroom, I don't even like I used to put on gloves to clean out that stuff. So I'm like, it's like now they have a product that they can spray down, they can wipe it up, they can get it done. And I don't have to be worried, like, did you wash your hands? Did you wear gloves? Did you not eat it? Because God only knows what you're doing down there.
No.
So I'm like, I'm glad that I came out with this, because I do honestly think that what the problem is that, like, so many people are catching a hold to this like fad of like living clean. And if we stopped with making it a fad and catching on in our 30s, and we started like implementing this into our kids' lives at 2 and 1 and from newborn, then they would live clean forever. And then, like I said, we would be here till we're 900 years old. And that's like I said, that's what I teach my kids, that, you know, you don't need to, like, even with snacks, like, we don't need to put 3 bags of chips into our body before it's even 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's try to like put an apple in there, like get a carrot or something,
Get an
like
apple in there too.
Like, we can have some chips. And I'm not like opposed to snacks. My kids don't like Trader Joe's chips. They don't like, they want the Doritos, and they get that stuff, you know, it's fine. But I believe everything in moderation. But when it came to like the kids box, I wanted parents to feel like you could literally, you don't have to go to the bathroom with your kid and be fearful that they're brushing their teeth. I mean, like, even just toothpaste in general. Like, that's the craziest thing. You read so many things about what you're supposed, like when Crew, I mean, it's been so long since I had a baby. He's 2 and my son is 9. So the huge gap in there. And you would think that so many things would have changed and evolved since what you're supposed to put on a child's teeth. Like, 1 minute it's, yes, fluoride is okay. The next minute it's like, it's not. And then it's like, so then forget it. It's not. As far as I'm concerned, we're not using it. So now it's like, you don't even have, I don't have to worry about it. Even if cause like I was going to the doctor, his first 1-year checkup last year, and they were like, okay, you can implement, you know, regular toothpaste now, but just make sure it's a little amount. And I'm thinking to myself, what's a little amount? My little to your little, right? I don't even, so let's just eliminate the whole thing, and let's just give him something that he can use. And I don't have to be worried if he's in the bathroom and he decides to just like play with the toothpaste, that I should be concerned for his well-being. Right. Like, so, and that's kind of what the thought process was. But the kids actually created the labels. They told me what they wanted to be in it. They came up with like how they wanted it to smell and what, like, so we do, because kids are, I feel like they're a little bit more fun. You know, we did put essential oils in some of the products, like the hand soap and the body wash and the body butter. All of that stuff has like essential oils, but the kids picked it out. They created the labels. And so it's like their whole little project. So I'm like super excited for the kids box to launch.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I feel like just your example by itself is amazing. Like, you were saying, you just like to experiment with things. Basically, you're playing, like kids play, they experiment, they create, and you're, as an entrepreneur, you're doing the same thing. So I feel like you're leaving such a great legacy. You're creating a legacy for your kids. You're teaching them how to be clean within their body and then their environment, and then to feel good about using good products. But it's like, not but, there's no but. I think it's amazing that you're doing that. Like, I can see that that's going to have an impact on your kids and their children and their children. It's just going to keep going. And it's like, it's awesome to be able to be a mom, be an entrepreneur, but how in the world do you do all of it? Like, how do you have a blog, you have your personal page, your cleaning stuff, your business, your coaching business. So it's like, how do you do all that?
So I hire help.
It's
That's
awesome.
like the newest, that's my newest thing. Well, okay, so most people don't know, I started out my journey in careers. I've worn so many different hats. I've had so many careers. But when I first left college, I did childcare for like, I probably did that for like during college, and then I don't know, right before I had my son, I stopped, or right after I had my son, actually, I stopped doing childcare and I nannied. So I always saw the value in what getting that extra help was like, and how much we need it sometimes. So I've never been like, I always tell my sister, she's like the prime example. She's how old am I? She's 30, she's 31. She lives here in Philly, actually. She lives in the city with her boyfriend, but they live like this really fun lifestyle. They travel whenever they want, they do whatever they want. They only have a dog. That's the only thing they have to worry about is their dog. And she always talks about, oh, when I have a baby, am I going to be able to live like this? And I'm like, yeah, get some help. Like if you want to still do it, just get some help. And I think there's this weird stigma about being a stay-at-home mom and actually needing help. But I went to drop off, one of my good friends is also a mom blogger, and I was dropping off one of my boxes for her, the laundry detergent, actually. I was dropping that off for her, and she was like, oh my God, this has just been so crazy, the blog and all this. And she's like, so we decided we're gonna get a nanny. And I said, oh, that is such a good idea.
Well,
Why didn't I think of that? And she was like, yeah, I'm just getting her. Her nanny, she has kids that are all this like around the same age. So her house is like loud, like it's like loud all the time. She has like 3 kids that are between 3 and 9, but it's just so loud all the time over there. So she was like, she's coming every day for the whole school day. And I was like, wow. And I said, well, I don't even need that because crew takes 3-hour naps during the day. So I just need somebody that would come in the morning so I could like get stuff done in the mornings. And that's what I did. It's been really, and the only reason why I even have that now is because the kids are here with distant learning. Yeah. If the kids were still at school, I probably wouldn't even have got a nanny. I guess it would have been more traditional. I would have just sent crew to daycare. Mm-hmm. So, which is so weird that people have this like weird stigma about having extra help in your home when you send your kid to daycare. It's the same thing.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's like the biggest thing for me. I'm very schedule oriented. I have a calendar. I just got like Trello, which is like amazing. Yeah. I never even heard of that. And so now I'm obsessed with that. But the proof is in my name, Mommy Planner. I can do nothing without a plan. If I can't plan it, if I can't put it on my calendar, like my friends can't call me and be like, hey, tomorrow, let's go X, Y, and Z. I'll be like, girl, no. You needed to have told me that like 2 weeks ago. I can't do that. But so I'm very particular about like my schedule. And I think that's like really the only way. And then as far as when it comes to work, family's first. So even today, like I'm getting DMs as we're talking and, hey, have you looked at that email I sent you? Okay, well, today's a day off for me. This crew's birthday, you know, I like make certain things a priority. And one thing that I also learned from, I don't know if you follow Casey from Babies and Bellinis. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Kate, yeah, I get because they're both named Casey.
Both Casey.
I know. Yeah. I used to work with Case, the graphic designer. She's a designer, right?
Oh yeah.
That one. Yeah, yes, I know her.
So I one thing that she's told me years ago, like right before I got married, she was like, you need to stick to a schedule. Like if your office hours are X, Y, and Z, those are your office hours. And so from then I've always had set office hours. And if it's outside of that frame of work, it's really, really hard as an entrepreneur to not overwork yourself. But when you're a mom, like it's hard to not overwork yourself with that. And when you're a wife, it's hard to not overwork yourself with that. And then if you do overwork yourself in those areas, you never end up having that time for you. So that's something that I have struggled with for so long, especially because I don't live where my family lives. And I'm like, they're away from me. So I don't have like that random babysitter, or like, I can't be like, hey mom, I'm going to drop the kids off with you so I can go to Trader Joe's, or so I can get my nails done, or I don't have that. So I have to, and my husband works 6 days out of the week. So it's like, I just have to make it work. Like recording YouTube videos, like I do that in the morning while the nanny's here. And if it doesn't get done in one day, then it's like I have to stay up till midnight and finish it. Or that's just how my life is. So I don't know how I really get it done. I just ask for help.
To me, it sounds like you understand the importance of having a community and not doing everything yourself, because I feel like, you know, they always used to say in the olden days, it takes a village. And so I feel like you understand like the need for community and the need for reaching out and saying like, help, please. And having a nanny is part of your community. That's happening. Like she's probably going to become a part of your family.
My family. Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's a vital thing for your life. And I think as entrepreneurs, because you're not just a stay-at-home mom, you're an entrepreneur, so we need that. You need to be okay with reaching out and asking for help. And I love that.
For sure.
Yeah, so I guess that concludes our interview. If there's anything else you want to share?
No, I mean, be on the lookout. Follow me at Mommy Planner, mom.e.planner, and then Mommy Clean, mom.e.clean. I'm sure I'll be tagged, but that's really it. Be on the lookout for our kids box and our COVID box. Hopefully they will come out soon. The only reason why they're not really out now is two things. Actually, Casey, the graphic designer, was working on my boxes, my mailers. So she was designing that. I just got those back yesterday. So I feel like I want it all to like come together in one thing. And then just two, because like I'm super like into this whole only moving when God says moves type of thing. So like, I just haven't felt like God is saying, do it now. So I just have been holding on to it. So, but I feel like it's coming close. I have so many things like in the works. And like next year, I'm launching this whole like campaign of like your body is a temple, and just really trying to hone in on not just cleaning, because cleaning stuff is great, but like being able to literally take care of our bodies and do it the right way, and learning how to nurture ourselves from the outside to the inside, and not just everybody's on this whole like wellness tip of like, get some me time and get some rest and like do yoga and all that's great. But like, if you're not taking care of your physical body from the outside in, then, you still want to feel good and look good at the same time. So yeah.
I love it. I'm like all things wellness, so I can't wait to
get
products. I had some of your laundry soap and I loved it because it's non-toxic and I don't like scents, and it works and it's great. And I just wanted to thank you for joining our community conversations, our very first one. I'm so glad.
It was so good.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad we were able to get it together. Hopefully this is recorded and we're not muted because I can't handle it. But thank you again, Erica, for joining us. And we can't wait to see what you're going to do next. And we'll be following you and sharing. We'll be sharing, because I love sharing on Dwell. We kind of look at it like a bulletin board. You go to like a restaurant, you see the bulletin where we can share other businesses and promote you guys too, because that's just so important to us. So we look forward to seeing all the awesome things you continue to do. So
thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.